No, you didn't ruin your life by accident. You were just trying to be happy, just trying to do the right thing. But anything without God in the center leads to pain. And when that pain got unbearable, when you thought you couldn't breathe anymore, the heart hurt so much. When you thought you were alone, in your darkest moment, God did not abandon you. He saw you. When I prayed and asked God what He wanted me to say in this video, He led me to 4 verses in the Bible. So tonight we're gonna go through those 4 verses to see a pattern that the Lord revealed to me that almost all of us go through in our life without realizing it. But before we move on in the verses, if you don't know Jesus yet, this part is for you. We all think we're pretty good people, right? So we should be able to go to heaven after we die. But have you ever lied? Have you ever stolen something? Have you ever even had a single bad thought in your heart about someone? The Bible calls that sin, or darkness that lives inside us. We were all born into this darkness. And no, God did not create this darkness in us. God created a perfect world. We were supposed to live in union with God forever. But us humans disobeyed God and opened a door to this darkness. And now we all have to deal with it. Before all of this happened, there was no death and decay in this world. But because of our disobedience, now we have to face with all of these consequences of all these diseases, these wars, and like this hatred in humanity. And there was nothing we as humans could do to fix that. But God loves us so much that He sent His only Son, Jesus Christ, who was fully God but became fully human, took human form to take on our sin. He lived a perfect life, perfect, the only human being on earth to ever live a sinless life. We all live a sinful life, and the punishment of sin is death. But Jesus took that punishment on Himself. You would think, how can somebody take somebody else's sin on Himself? Yeah, humans can't, but God can. Can you measure what God can do? No, you cannot. You cannot even begin to fathom what God can do. So God took our sin on Himself like a father would take a punishment for his children. If they were meant to go in prison, a father would happily go in prison and save his son. That's the same thing what Jesus did for us. He took our punishment on Himself. After you accept Jesus, you don't just get to be with God in heaven for all eternity. All eternity. Imagine how long is eternity. We live here 80 to 90 years, but eternity is forever. Forever. We do so much work and we invest in so much relationships and love and marriage on this earth, which is one day going to end. But we forget how important are the things of eternity. It is a forever thing. You cannot change it after. Human life is given so you can connect with God for all eternity. So once you accept Jesus in your heart, you connect with God for all eternity. But not just that. God comes and lives inside you. Like you feel His presence, you hear Him, you talk to Him. In the Bible, the God is called alive. It's not just a figure, a statue, or anything that is made by human hands. God is alive. He answers you. Everybody talks to God, right? Every religion, everybody talks to God. But here, God talks back to you. So here is the open invitation to anybody who listens with an open heart. Because once you humble yourself and open your heart towards God, He comes and reveals Himself to you and you will know your Creator. Okay, now let's move on to the verses. But before we go into the first verse, think, have you ever sabotaged something by mistake? Because you thought it was too good to be true. Like you sabotaged the peace because peace felt unfamiliar. I have done that so many times, looking back. But that is the first verse. It's 2 Samuel chapter 10 verse 4. Let's all read it together. It says, "So Hanam took David's servants and shaved off half the beard of each and cut off their garments in the middle at their hips and sent them away." What's happening here? David had sent men to a king whose father had just died to comfort him in his time of need. But at that time, kings never did that. Not never, maybe sometimes. But they did not know this kind of love and kindness from another king. Whenever a king would die, another king would attack and take their throne. So when David showed kindness, his advisors thought that he is coming here to scout your weakness. So they thought this was an attack and they rebelled. This one action of David could have really made their relationship stronger, but instead, because of their trauma and what had happened in their past, they thought this is an attack and they literally made it into a war. Doesn't that sound too familiar? Someone breaks your heart once, and then every time you enter another relationship, you already are doubting them. Like it's too good to be true. They're treating you so nicely, bringing you flowers, taking you on dates. And you're like, okay, but what is he hiding? His phone pops up with a notification and right away your chest tightens. You feel that? You feel right away something is inside. Why? Because your ex was cheating on you. That does not mean the present is. But you end up ruining a good thing because of the unhealed trauma from the past. Your nervous system learned survival, not safety. And when God enters your life, He says, I choose you. I already give you my all. I love you as you are. You are like, what's the catch? You don't believe Him. That's why most people have such a hard time believing what Jesus did, because they are like, how could somebody who died 2,000 years ago could save me now? They are thinking of Him as just a human being who lived a human life, but they're not thinking of Him as a God who loves you so much that even before you were born, even before you ever existed on earth, He already saved you. He already chose you. He already loved you as you are. He already knew you were going to reject Him like you are right now. He already knew even if you say you love Him, you do the things that He does not like. You do the things that He knows are going to hurt you again. He knew, but He still chose you because He loves you that much. When a son does something wrong, the father might get angry at him, but he never stops loving him. He still loves him as he is. A father's love can never be changed. And if we're talking about a human father, think of a loving God. His love can never be changed. He might discipline you to bring you on the right path, but His love is always unchanged. We love Him because He loved us first. While we were sinners, Christ died for us. I just heard this song and it said, from a throne to a cross, who would pay such a price? Think of that. A throne. God is on His throne, the biggest throne of all. To the cross. Dying on the cross was the most humiliating death for like the worst murderers and thieves of Roman Empire. From the throne of whole world to dying like the most grievous, worst death. Who would pay such a price? Price of what? For you. So you could be with God instead of going to hell. Who would pay such a price? Jesus paid such a price for you and me. While we were sinners, Christ died for us. And it is so hard for a human heart who has learned trauma all their life, all our lives. We've just felt hurt, breakup after breakup, pain from parents, and not be able to meet expectations. So when Jesus comes and says, "Come to me, all who labor and are heavy laden, and I will give you rest," He's saying, "Come to me, you who are tired of life, tired of carrying all this pain on your shoulders all your life. And I will give you rest for your soul. I will give you this peace that you've never known. The world cannot give you that peace. Only Jesus can." Many of you might even be church hurt or hurt by Christians who did not know how to be like Christ. God is not the people who represent Him poorly. People don't define God. We are supposed to live like Christ. Christ died for us. That is the biggest symbol of love that you can see. Love is sacrificial. We all go in relationships thinking, "Oh, what can I get here? How will they make me happy? What will they do for me?" But real love is sacrificial. And the biggest example of that is Christ. He loved us, but He did not think, "What will I get from it?" He said, I want you to be happy. I want you to have peace. I want you to have a relationship with God. So I will take your punishment and sacrifice myself. If you watch The Passion of the Christ, that is just the beginning of the pain that you can imagine Jesus went through for you and me. We just see the physical pain, but we don't even see the spiritual pain He went through. Jesus and the Father have been together. Jesus, Father, and the Holy Spirit have been together for all eternity. Since the beginning of this world, they have been together as one. And Jesus took separation from the Father. If you have to leave your partner, let's say to go on a work trip for even a year, a month, you cry. I used to cry, okay? And imagine that. Jesus, who have been with the Father for all eternity, and they have never separated, not even for one time. But for you and me, He took that separation. That's when He shouted, my God, why have you forsaken me?" Imagine the pain He was going through. Everybody He loved left Him. All His disciples ran away. Only one stuck out. And the God who had been with Him forever, Jesus didn't just take our sin, He became a sin. And God is perfect light. He cannot be near sin, not because God is cruel, but because He is light. Like when you turn on a light in the room, in a dark room, the darkness burns away. When God is near darkness, the darkness would burn away. That's why the punishment for sin is death. And Jesus became that sin. So He took that punishment, death, and took the separation from God. So instead of making your past experiences doubt what Jesus did for you on the cross, think, what if God's love for you is so deep that He did something not even the angels in the heaven could have expected? He did it not even for the angels. He did it for you and me. That's why the devil is jealous of us. Why? Why does he torment us all the time? Why? Because he's not getting a second chance. But you and me are. God loves us so much that He literally He took death. He became sin and He took the death that we deserve. So the devil cannot accuse you and me. You were bought with a price. A price was paid on the cross. So do not become slaves of men and sin again. So really sit down and take a moment and think here. Are you questioning God's love or reacting to the only kind of love that you have ever known? The next verse God led me to was Judges chapter 15 verse 13. Let's read it together. They said to him, "No, we will only bind you and give you into their hands. We will surely not kill you." So they bound him with 2 ropes and brought him up from the rock. What's happening here? Israelites tied Samson up, who was a leader sent by God to free them from their oppressors. Israel was living under oppression so long they stopped believing freedom was even possible. Samson was raised by God to confront that oppression, but his own people were more afraid of that conflict than they were hopeful of their deliverance. So instead of standing with the person God sent to help them, they restrained him. Not because they hated him, because they were afraid of the consequences of what he carried. They didn't attack him. They cooperated with the enemy to keep the peace. And Samson didn't fight back. Think about that. The strength was already in him, but he let them bind him. Why? Because sometimes God will let you look defeated before he shows who's actually with you. There comes a moment in all our lives when you obeyed, you loved, you didn't gossip, you didn't take revenge, but still you are the one who's being hurt. You loved deeply, you didn't cheat on them, but still you ended up hurt. You never gossip about friends, but they're always gossiping about you, and you were the one sitting alone now. You obeyed God, even if it didn't make any sense to you. Then why does it look like God is silent? Nothing is happening. Everybody's doubting you. Everybody's doubting. Are you really hearing God? Are you just talking? But you know you did. But that's the part that hurts most. Because it's not the people judging or talking. It's when your own mind starts questioning. Did I really hear God? Was this all in my head? Was that truly love? Or am I just crazy? That's the moment. That's the test of your faith. Because God waits until every human solution is not a solution anymore. Because he wants you to know it is him who did it. He wants you and everyone around you to know that he is the one who delivered you. Not you, not anyone else, not your efforts, not your control, not your money, nothing. It was him who delivered you. When we are in the middle of a bad situation, like in the thick of it, and we feel like we've hit a wall, there's no going forward. We can't hear God. We don't see him. We don't know where he is, and there's nobody to help you. God is still there. God is the Alpha and the Omega. What is Alpha and the Omega? Alpha, he is the beginning. Omega, he is the end. So when you're in the middle, God is already standing at the end because he knows how you will get there. All you need is faith. He knows everything. He's seen your past. He's seen your future. He knows the traumas and the pain that you carry. And he is here to heal that and hold your hand and bring you through. So don't get stuck in the middle. Samson let his hands tied up because he knew the power he carried inside him. Even if the people around him didn't want to believe, they were scared because of the trauma that they had. But Samson knew the God that was with him. So he let them tie him until God freed him. Until he broke out and no one could question that it was God who was with him. Your job right now is not to panic and not to explain yourself into exhaustion. Your job right now is to stand still. Because when God frees you, He won't just free you. He will make it undeniable that you were ever alone. He is with you with every step you take. Like He said to Joshua, "Fear not, be strong and courageous, for the Lord your God walks with you wherever you go." He is always with you. That is the promise. Even if your situation doesn't look like it, your present is not your future. Say it. My present is not my future. My present is not my future. My God is already there. He already knows. And what He said to you will happen. It will be done. The word of the Lord never returns empty. It always fulfills the purpose it was set to do. God is not a man who will lie. When He says He is going to do something, He is going to do it in His time, not in your time. So pause here for a second and think, are you rushing or are you escaping the moment God is actually trying to use to reveal Himself? Now let's go in the next verse. Numbers chapter 3 verse 41. Let's read it together. "And you shall take the Levites for me. I am the Lord, instead of all the firstborn among the people of Israel, and the cattle of the Levites, instead of all the firstborn among the cattle of the people of Israel." What's happening here? I like to break verses from like Leviticus and Numbers, especially from the Hebrew root, because there's definitely deeper meanings to these things there. There's a lot of symbolism. So let's break this verse down in the Hebrew. In Hebrew it says, "Ve'lakachti et ha Levi em li." I will take the Levites for myself. The word lakash means to personally claim, and li means mine. Not they will work for me, not they will help me. God says mine. Some of you feel this. Your friends can party all night, drink, smoke, hook up. But you tried. You want to return sometimes to who you were and just be normal again. But you can't. The conviction that sits inside you won't let you do it. Like Jeremiah said, "His word is in my heart like a fire shut up in my bones. I am weary of holding it. I cannot." Do you feel that? Do you feel the weight of that? Jeremiah is so sick of this God's conviction sitting in him. He wants to be normal. He wants to have friends again, and he wants to just be in a community again. But he cannot. Why? Because he was chosen. God chose him for Himself, like He chose you. That's why He won't just let you be normal in the world, because you're not normal. You're set apart for Him. You are holy as your God is holy. So how can you live a sinful life? He won't let you. That is why He convicts you. And God only convicts the people He loves the most. He disciplines the people He loves the most. A father only disciplines his children. A father is not going to go and start disciplining other people's child. That is their parents' responsibility. So God, who is your Father, disciplines you because He loves you so much. You are set apart for His purposes. But that comes with a big responsibility. When you say you're a Christian now, you are representing Christ Himself, Jesus Christ Himself, God Himself. People who don't know Jesus yet, who don't know God yet, They are going to look at you and your life. It can either bring them want to have closer relationship to God or drive them away. That's why most people get hurt by Christians who are so judgmental. They judge people so much that nobody wants to be near Jesus. When you think of Jesus, he was so loving. He was so loving. But he also hated sin. He did not hate the people, he hated sin. Like he told that woman, go and sin no more. He did not let anybody accuse her. But he also told her, go and sin no more. Sitting with sinners does not make you a sinner. You bring light into a dark room. So when you go somewhere, if you have all different types of friends and you hang out with all different types of people, that is okay, because God has called you to be the light in the darkness. Like Jesus said, you are the light of the world. It is your responsibility. But it's not just only about that responsibility. With all these responsibilities, because you're chosen by God for himself, you also get to experience God like not many people can. That intimacy, that closeness with God, there is nothing in the world you can compare it to. Nothing, nothing. Even if you can't see him, you feel him. You can feel his spirit living in you. And you know he loves you so much. He loves you so much. His word says he loves you. In Isaiah, he literally says, I love you because you are precious in my eyes. Imagine God saying, I love you to you. You can never compare that kind of love with anything. God, imagine. God who made this world, who created all these mountains, who created the rainbow and the clouds and every living thing on this planet, says, I love you to you. He says, I called you by name. He knows my name. My name. Twinkle Khanna. He knows my name. God who made this world knows my name. He calls me by name. He talks to me. He knows your name. He talks to you. He knows each and everything that you carry in your heart because he chose you. He loves you. And that love comes with a responsibility. He chose you because he knew you would be able to handle this responsibility. He didn't bring you out of all of that darkness, all of that pain, just so you could sit home and watch Netflix. He brought you out because he knew you could carry the weight of bringing other people out of that. You know the pain they carry because that was the same pain you are carrying, and you know the peace that you feel now because of what Jesus has done. Like Jesus said, to whom more is given, much will be required. That intimacy with God that you get to experience, it comes with the responsibility of bringing other souls, other children of God back to him who are lost in the world, and deep down their souls are crying because they don't know how to get out. But now you know how to get out. So you have to help them. You have to walk with God. You show them what God has done. You are God's witnesses, like in front of a judge. To prove your case, you need witnesses. There is so much confusion in this world, but God needs his witnesses. So you can show what the true God is. My mom always says this, just keep your experiences of God with yourself. You don't have to shout about it. You don't have to speak about God all the time. But if I don't speak about God all the time, if I don't share what God has done, then how would somebody know what is Jesus and what is somebody else? Like, there is many gurus in this world, many people who call themselves saints, and they call themselves equal of Jesus, but they can do nothing. How will then I show what is the truth and what is not? So be God's witnesses. You are chosen for a reason. So think, do you want to keep trying to be normal again? Or are you finally ready to accept that you were set apart for a purpose? Now, before we go into the next verse, have you ever felt like you have big dreams? You know you meant for big things, but your friend is actually living them? Like, your sibling is actually living them, or everyone around you is actually living them, but you are just stuck. And you hate that the thought even comes in your mind. God, why not me? Why not me? That's the fourth and the last verse. Exodus chapter 20, verse 17. Let's read it together. God says, "You shall not covet your neighbor's house. You should not covet your neighbor's wife, or his male servant, or his female servant, or his ox, or his donkey, or anything that is your neighbor's." God is saying, don't crave and envy what others have, because once you start focusing on what they have, you completely go blind on what God has already given you. Like, when you focus on one thing that you don't have, you completely forget on everything that you do have. Like, you want that car and your neighbor has that and you really want it, but you forget the big house that you have, your happy kids, your big business, the car that you do have. But you just focus on that I don't have that, and it takes your peace away. Or what God has promised you, even if you don't have it yet, but somebody else is already living in their promise. But you start focusing on what they are getting and forget what God is doing in you. You know you're not the same person inside. You know what God has done in you, even if other people can't see it yet. Even if your situation does not reflect it yet, but you know what has transformed in you. And you know what? The success that lasts starts with a transformed heart, not with money on the table. Because there is a lot of success that comes overnight and gets taken away overnight. Why? Because the heart was never actually transformed. What God is building in you is taking time, because it is lasting. It will last generations. Satan doesn't start with hating people. He starts with putting comparison in your head. It's that voice that starts talking. Oh, you don't have that. That subtle voice. People think that Satan is only in very evil situations like black magic and stuff. No, Satan is sitting right in your head, talking all the time. When you start comparing yourself, like, oh, she is so much more beautiful than me, and he has better body than me, any comparison, any doubt in your mind that God is not going to work in your life, God is not going to pull through, that is the thought Satan is planting in your head. He is a liar. Treat him as such. Whenever you have, but the Bible says you have to keep every thought captive. Whenever a thought of comparison comes, right away, focus on the thing that you do have. Focus on the good life that you do have instead of envying the life that others have. That is how you defeat Satan. Not in fighting spiritual warfare all the time. Just by focusing on what God has already done in you. And remembering what he is going to do again. He has already delivered you and given you so much, and he will do it again. Just because something hasn't happened yet doesn't mean it's not going to. Think of like a production announcing that they're going to do a movie. First, they announce that there will be a movie coming out. That doesn't mean this movie is going to come out tomorrow. The movie is going to take time. The scripts are being written, actors are being chosen, things are happening behind the scenes, the movie is being created. The same way, God is working behind the scenes. A movie is being created. And when it is ready, the release date will be released. And you will be able to go watch it. The same way, when God's perfect timing is here, you will be able to go watch it. God is not withholding anything from you. He's working behind the scenes because what He's doing in your life needs a season of preparation. Everything good needs a season of preparation. And if you trade your peace to choose someone else's timing, you risk missing your own. So instead of asking God, why not me yet? Ask God, what do you want me to do right now? How do you want me to be right now? What are you teaching me right now? Because what you have in His presence today is safer than what you could grab early tomorrow. You don't need their path. You have a promise with your name on it. So ask yourself, can you celebrate them when they are living in their promise and wait for yours to come? Now when we put all the verses together, what do we get? First, you showed kindness. Your intention was good, but you got in a bad situation. Second, now you're in it. You're in the thick of it. And you're crying, God help me, God help me. Where is He? He's not showing up. Why? Because He is waiting. Because He wants to reveal His power. And His power is shown at the end of all human strength. When your strength is all gone, that's when God shows up. So everyone knows it is Him who did it. Third, now you know you're chosen. God pulled you out for a reason. You know you're chosen. He calls you His. You know you're here for a reason. He loves you. He shows you who He is. And He gives you a responsibility, a purpose, to show everyone else what He did in you. Then fourth, but you know everything in you has changed, but your surroundings haven't caught up yet. You know the things God is doing in you, but nothing outside you feels different. But everyone else is winning, but you are not. So that jealousy, that envy starts speaking. Is God really doing this? You even start doubting what God has shown you. You even start doubting your own deliverance because you are not where your friends are yet. And that's when God says, do not covet your neighbor. First, your good intentions got you into a bad thing. Second, now you're in the thick of it, but God is not pulling you out yet because He's waiting. He's waiting. Third, when He pulls you out and shows you who you are in Him, He chooses you. Fourth, now you're in the waiting season. This is so funny because as I'm speaking this has been the last 4 years of my life. God is so funny. I thought I'm speaking to everybody else here, but He was showing me my own life right now. And I'm sure this has been the life of many of you. But in the waiting season, when it's your test of faith, don't leave. Don't doubt your own deliverance. This is when God is strengthening your faith. Hold on to it tighter. So if you've ever felt misunderstood, stuck, set apart, and in constant battle of comparison, maybe this isn't just God teaching you. Maybe He's letting you recognize the season you are in and to stand firm in your faith. And that's it for today. Thank you all who made it through. I know this is a long video, but I love you. I will see you next Sunday with a new message. And until then, may the Lord keep you, shine His face upon you, and give you peace in Jesus' name.